Part 7. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 61. Young Master Su, you are right. If you accept us, it will definitely mean declaring war on Nalan Yi. We didn't think of this before, so we took the risk and came to join you. We were rude. At this moment, Zhao Jiping felt a little guilty and said gratefully, but I never expected that you would accept us and be our protector despite knowing that you would offend Nalan Yi. This kindness will be unforgettable. Young Master Su, from now on, if you ask me anything, I, Song Kongming, will do my best to do it. Song Kongming was also deeply moved. You two have seen each other. In fact, I also have my own selfish motives. Nalan Yi wants to kill me. I definitely can't just sit back and wait for death. I will need your help then. Su Yang smiled softly and said, also, as the number one dude in Jiangbei, there are too many people who want to kill me. With you two secretly protecting me, whoever wants to kill me is seeking death. I can walk away sideways. From now on, I can sleep with any of the young female models and celebrities in high-end clubs who I want, haha. At the end of the sentence, Su Yang showed a proud smile, and his dandy attitude was clearly revealed. Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming looked at each other in shock when they heard this, but they knew that Su Yang was a playboy, so they could accept what Su Yang said. After a pause for a few seconds, Zhao Jiping stepped forward and asked, Young Master Su, do you have any plans in mind? How can we kill Nalan Yi? This. The corner of Su Yang's mouth raised, and he said immediately, what's the plan to kill him? That guy often goes to high-end clubs to spend money. If you get the chance, go up and kill him and run away. This. Zhao Jiping smiled bitterly and said, Young Master Su, I'm afraid you don't know yet, Nalan Yi's strength is not weak, and he has already entered the late stage of Huajin. Nalan Yi is indeed very strong, but if he is in a closed space and has no chance to escape, I can still kill him by joining forces with the Zhao family leader. Song Kongming next to him was puzzled, it's just that I'm afraid there are experts around Nalan Yi. Furthermore, Nalan Xiu of the Nalan family has unfathomable strength. If he gets involved, the Zhao family leader and I will not only be unable to kill Nalan Yi, we will even die on the spot. Song Kongming looked at Su Yang and said without leaving any trace, of course, if we can stop the masters of the Nalan family, Nalan Yi will definitely die in our hands. Young Master Su, you see. Don't worry, we are all our own people, there is no need to mince words. Su Yang smiled softly and said, when Nalan Yi goes to a high-end club, you can go ahead and kill him. I will take care of the rest of the Nalan family. What the hell Nalan Xiu, he's far behind compared to my grandfather. My grandfather is the best master in Jiangbei, Su Yang said confidently. Good. When Zhao Jiping heard this, he was overjoyed and said excitedly, Young Master Su, let's go to the high-end club where Nalan Yi often goes to guard him now. Once we find him, I will contact you immediately, and then you can make the Su family run smoothly. Stop the masters of the Nalan family. We only need half an hour, or at most 40 minutes, to kill Nalan Yi. Yes, Su Yang nodded and said, it all depends on you two. No, 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 we should be relying on you, Zhao Jiping said hastily, with a particularly respectful tone. Then what are you waiting for? Go and stay. I'll wait for your news, Su Yang said. Yes. Young Master Su, say goodbye. Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming agreed, said goodbye to Su Yang, and left the riverside villa. Young Master, when Zhao Wenbin and Wang Pingchuan wanted to kill you that night, was it Nalan Yi's fault? At this time, Guo Yi asked doubtfully. Su Yang smiled softly and said, it's almost the same. This Nalan Yi, damn it, he actually dares to have evil thoughts on you. Do you really think the Nalan family can compete with the Su family? Guo Yi had a sullen face, and then asked respectfully, Young Master, I heard the head of the family mentioned what happened that night. The head of the family said that a master from country D killed Zhao Wenbin, and Wang Pingchuan killed a master from country D before he died. This is probably not true, right? Did you kill these two people? Haha, that's half right. Su Yang smiled and then warned, Guo Yi, don't tell my dad these things. You have also seen that there are undercurrents surging in Jiangbei, and the Su family is also in a big crisis. The more times like this, the more you have to keep a low profile. Only at critical moments can it be of great use, Su Yang said seriously. I understand. I'm just wronging you. You are obviously very powerful and thoughtful, but you have been misunderstood as an ignorant young man. Guo Yi said, feeling a little sad for Su Yang. Who doesn't want to be glamorous and gain everyone's attention and respect? But young Master Su, for the sake of longer-term considerations, chose to silently endure the glares and insults. This requires so much magnanimity and courage. Okay, don't mention it again, I've gotten used to it over the years, Su Yang said lightly. The years he mentioned were not the 20 years of young Master Su's life, but the 80,000 years of cultivation of immortal Emperor Xiantian. Su Yang knew very well that it was safest to hide oneself well. The more inconspicuous one was, the more one would be despised, and the longer one would live. Those extremely talented people who are famous often become the backdrop for stronger people. To put it bluntly, Su Yang was afraid of death, but in Guo Yi's eyes, his image was extremely tall. Young master, do you really plan to join forces with Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming to deal with Nalan Yi? After a pause, Guo Yi asked. Of course not. Su Yang showed a playful smile. Zhao Wenbin and Wang Pingchuan, they want to kill me. Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming are logically my enemies. Since they want to kill Nalan Yi, let them bite each other. Whether they kill them or not, it has nothing to do with me. Su Yang said calmly, as for Nalan Yi, as long as I am sure that there is no expert to protect him, it will be easy for me to kill him. There are plenty of opportunities. This is a good move, the young master is wise. After receiving the reply, Guo Yi's expression became excited, and his eyes looking at Su Yang were full of admiration and awe. While the two were talking, Su Shenbing called and urged Su Yang to return to the Su family manor. After hanging up the phone, Guo Yi said, the head of the family probably wants you to get to know the members of the National Blade first, so as to pave the way for you to go to the National Blade to train in the future. Young master, with your strength, no one is your opponent except the National Blade instructor. In fact, there is no need to go to the National Blade. Unfortunately, the head of the family does not know that you are a martial arts master, Guo Yi said with a smile. Guo Ren, this is quite troublesome. I don't want to go there to train. It's a waste of time. It seems that I have to find a reason to refuse. But now I still have to go back to the Su family manor. Su Yang smiled softly, then drove the Bentley Mulsanne and left the riverside villa. Not long after, Su Yang arrived at the manor and walked into the hall. He found several pairs of eyes falling on him at the same time, including the captain of the National Blade, Zhang Chenyang. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 62. Feeling the attention of everyone, Su Yang did not pay attention, but said impatiently, Dad, why are you urging me to come back? I have been resting for 2 days. I originally planned to go out to sea with some bikini beauties today, but I'm not in the mood anymore because of the phone calls. You bastard, you are so full of shit, you don't even care about the occasion. Su Shenbing smacked the table angrily, then gritted his teeth and said, Come here, let me introduce you. These are members of the Chinese people, and they are all masters. Especially this one, Zhang Chenyang, captain of the National Blade, a peak master of energy transformation, very powerful. Master. That's it? Last night, We were trapped in a cave by several experts from country D. Without me, they would have died long ago. Su Yang showed a playful smile and did not actively greet the National Blade members. You brat, why are you still standing there? Say hello to Captain Zhang. Su Shenbing said with hatred, from now on, when you go to Kuoban, he will be your captain. If you don't please the captain now, you will suffer in the future. Oh. When Su Yang heard this, he had no choice but to say hello perfunctorily, Captain Zhang, hello, do you like a pedicure? I'll take you to have your feet massaged another day. Pinch you uncle, Su Shenbing's face turned dark with anger. Shui Su, don't embarrass young Master Su. At this time, Zhang Chenyang smiled, and then said respectfully, for your sake, I will definitely take good care of young Master Su. Haha, I feel relieved now. Su Shenbing laughed heartily, his eyes fell on Zhang Chenyang, and said with satisfaction, you kid really surprised me. I thought back when you joined the National Blade, but the team members under me, I didn't expect that you are now stronger than me Gao, and has become captain. Thank you, Commander Su. No matter what I become, I will always be your soldier, Zhang Chenyang said in awe. Okay, okay. Su Shenbing felt that it was very honorable, and then said, I will feel relieved if I leave Su Yang to you. By the way, do you have any mission when you come to Jiangbei? Do you need my help? In this 3-acre area of Jiangbei, my words still carry a lot of weight, Su Shenbing asked. This mission is originally confidential, but Su Shui, you are not an outsider, so it doesn't hurt to tell you. Zhang Chenyang continued, 2 days ago, we got news that a group of D country masters came to Jiangbei, seemingly looking for the Red Lotus Sword, so we followed with the purpose of snatching the Red Lotus Sword and giving it away. Put it into the treasury and seal it. Red Lotus Sword? That is one of the famous swords of country D. Su Shenbing frowned and said, what was the result? Did you find the Red Lotus Sword? Found it? The Red Lotus Sword was used as a burial object and buried in a cave in Dongshan. Zhang Chenyang said eloquently, however, those D country masters are very strong and came well prepared. We were careless and were captured alive by them. Later, a master from the Nalan family came forward, killed the master from country D, and rescued us. A master from the Nalan family. Su Shenbing heard this and analyzed, to be able to defeat you, among those D country masters there must be some who are at the peak of their energy, or even martial arts masters. It must be Nalan Xiu of the Nalan family who took action, and he is the only one with this strength. Not Nalan Xiu. Zhang Chenyang shook his head and said, it's the second son of the Nalan family, Nalan Yi. Nalan Yi, Su Shenbing suddenly looked surprised and asked as if to confirm, did you identify the wrong person? No, he announced his home last night. I verified it afterwards and it was indeed Nalan Yi. Zhang Chenyang continued, it seems that he is only in his early 20s, but his strength has reached the peak of Huajin, and he may even be a grandmaster. It is so surprising. Nalan Yi is actually so strong. Su Shenbing was very shocked, this Nalan Yi is a playboy on the surface. His status in the Nalan family is not as good as that of his eldest brother Nalan Fenjiun or his younger brother Nalan Mingj, but he did not expect that he is the one who hides the deepest the one. The Nalan family should not be underestimated. They have actually trained a super master in his 20s. It is really unbelievable. His achievements in the future will be limitless. Su Shenbing couldn't help praising Nalan Yi, but then thought of his son, and gritted his teeth and said, Su Yang, look at him, and then look at you. If I remember correctly, Nalan Yi usually has contact with you. He just pretends to be a playboy, but you are really a super playboy. Aren't you ashamed of this? What a shame. Su Yang smiled in his heart, but said indifferently on the surface, Nalan Yi is very awesome, but when he sees me, doesn't he want to nod and bow down and call me young Master Su? Ignorant thing, he is looking out for the Su family and your grandfather, otherwise there is no need for them to pay attention to you. Su Shenbing said angrily, Su Yang, don't you have any sense of worry? TCH, my grandpa just needs to be strong. Besides, I also have an awesome and coaxing sister. They will protect me. Why should I think so much? It's not enough to waste my brain cells. Su Yang curled his lips and said, if I have this time, I might as well watch 2 short movies to learn the postures and experience, so that I can use them in actual combat in the future. Nima. Su Shenbing's face turned dark with anger and he was speechless for a long time. Su Shui, calm down, young Master Su is just joking with you, don't worry about it, Zhang Chenyang reassured. What a joke, he is serious, this little bastard, forget it, I don't care about him anymore, when the national sword, Chenyang, you take care of him for me. Su Shenbing became angry and glanced at Su Yang, then looked away and asked, Chenyang, since you have been rescued, you must have successfully obtained the Red Lotus sword. Are you going to return to the National Blade in the past 2 days? Su Shui, the task was not completed, something went wrong. Zhang Chenyang looked serious and continued, the Red Lotus sword was snatched from my hand by Nalan Yi. Huh? Probably not. Is there some misunderstanding? Nalan Yi doesn't know that you are from the National Blade, Su Shenbing asked doubtfully. He knows. When mentioning this matter, Zhang Chenyang said angrily, not only did Nalan Yi know that we are from Kuavan, he also provoked Kuavan very arrogantly. He emphasized many times that he was from Nalan's family. He also said that if he was not afraid of death, he could go to Nalan's family. Get the knife. Su Shenbing heard this and analyzed, he has great strength at a young age. He must be arrogant. How do you plan to deal with this matter? Nalan Yi's situation is too bad. I have informed the instructor. The instructor flew over last night. He must be arriving in Jiangbei soon. Zhang Chenyang said coldly, as soon as the instructor arrives, we will immediately go to Nalan's house, forcefully retrieve the Red Lotus sword, and punish Nalan Yi to make him pay for his words and deeds. Well, this matter involves too much, so our Su family got involved to avoid damaging the relationship with the Nalan family, Su Shenbing said. Clear. Zhang Chenyang nodded, and then received a text message. After taking a look at it, he said, Shui Su, the instructor has got off the plane and is on his way to Su's house. Why did she come to Su's house? Tell her not to come. Hearing this, Su Shenbing suddenly felt guilty and seemed a little afraid of the Kuaban instructor. Forget it, Zhang Chenyang, take someone out to wait for her, and then go directly to Nalan's house. Don't come to Su's house after finishing your work. I don't want to see her. Haha, I understand, Su Shui, I will come to visit you again when I have the chance. Zhang Chenyang smiled and said goodbye before leaving. Knowing that Nalan Yi might be the master, the National Blade instructor still went to Nalan's house to find a place. This shows that the National Blade instructor is already a master. Maybe a battle between masters will break out in the Nalan family. It is necessary to follow him and take a look. With this in mind, Su Yang hurriedly suggested, Dad, can I go to Nalan's house with Captain Zhang? What are you going to do? Su Shenbing frowned. I want to see the style of the National Blade instructor. Su Yang smiled proudly and said, besides, Guo Ren went to Nalan's house to cause trouble. This is an opportunity to show off. I will also be a member of Guo Ren in the future, so I must show off. You just know how to show off your stink, Gun, come along, my kidneys hurt when I see you. Su Shenbing waved his hands impatiently, and then urged, Chenyang, take people out quickly, and make sure to keep your instructors out. Yes. Zhang Chenyang couldn't help laughing, and then said, Young Master Su, let's go. Su Yang nodded and followed Zhang Chenyang out of the living room, but he was particularly curious. My father seems to be very afraid of the National Blade instructor. Why? Arriving outside the manor, Su Yang couldn't help but ask Zhang Chenyang next to him, curiously, "Captain Zhang, is our instructor scary? Why is my dad so afraid of him?" This. Zhang Chenyang smiled and looked around. When he found that there was no one around, he told an old story. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 63. The National Blade instructor's name is Xiao. She is a stunningly talented and proud woman who entered the realm of a master before she was 40 years old. Many years ago, when Su Shenbing was training in the National Blade, Xiao was still a young and ignorant young girl. At that time, Su Shenbing had a lot of contact with Xiao. Slowly, Xiao became obsessed with Su Shenbing and secretly developed feelings for Su Shenbing. Xiao is an introverted girl, but in order to pursue true love, she expressed her feelings to Su Shenbing more than once. It's a pity that Su Shenbing has his own heart and clearly rejects Xiao every time. Xiao knew that Su Shenbing didn't like her, but she didn't give up. She once said that she was willing to wait, even if her time passed, and even if the world changed, she would wait. But the results are often not as good as imagined. Not long after, Su Shenbing left Kuiyan quietly and returned to Jiangbei to marry a wife and have children, and this was how Su Yang was born. Since Su Shui left, our instructor's personality has changed. In the past, the instructor was as gentle as water. Even if we did something wrong, she would not punish us, just like the big sister next door. At this moment, Zhang Chenyang continued, but since then, the instructor seems to have changed. He is unsmiling and cold as ice. I made a small mistake a few years ago and was punished to the point of almost becoming autistic. Young Master Su, to put it simply, Su Shui has failed our instructor. Now you know why he doesn't want to see the instructor, Zhang Chenyang said with a smile. Damn it, I didn't expect Dad to have such a romantic past, Su Yang said in surprise. Young Master Su, don't talk nonsense. Zhang Chenyang said seriously, Su Shui is not romantic at all. His attitude has always been very clear, otherwise he would have been hugging him from both sides. In my heart, Su Shui is a good example worth learning from. He sticks to his original intention, remains consistent, and has deep feelings for the people. It is rare and precious to love someone with all your heart. The reason why Su Shui doesn't want to see the instructor is not because of fear, but because he feels guilty. He feels that he has delayed the instructor's best years. Zhang Chenyang sighed and said, Hey, no one is right or wrong in this matter. It can only be said that fate plays a trick on people. Su Yang didn't answer any more, but he also had a little more respect for his father in his heart. I didn't expect that an LSP who would watch movies in the study room late at night would be so infatuated. If you think about it carefully, my mother has been dead for 5 years. As a father, if you want to renew your relationship, the jewels of the big and small families in Jiangbei will rush to marry into the Su family. But my father didn't. He persisted alone for 5 years and never went to the club for massage. It was really not easy. At this moment, Su Yang suddenly understood why his father watched a movie alone, and decided never to laugh at his father about this matter in the future. Young Master Su, our instructor is here. Try not to mention Su Shui in front of her. I'm afraid she will go berserk at this time, Zhang Chenyang said. Yes, I know. When Su Yang heard this, he immediately cheered up and moved his eyes to look forward. I saw a woman wearing a white gauze skirt walking over gracefully. She is tall and tall enough to hold up a floor-length dress, and her beautiful features are impeccable, just like a fairy in a painting. The instructor is over 40 years old, but time has not left any trace on her face. She looks like a little girl in her 20s. but she had a serious expression and an unsmiling look, and had an aura that surpassed that of a little girl. As she walked step by step, the members of the National Blade bowed their heads, not daring to look at her more. Even Su Yang felt a little wary in his heart when facing this woman in a white dress. Is this the aura of a master? It's really not comparable to Hua Jin. It's so terrifying. Su Yang was thinking in his mind. He didn't know how long he could last in the hands of the martial arts master with all his strength. At the same time, he was secretly grateful. Fortunately, he didn't reveal his strength in a high-profile manner after breaking through to the second level of Qi training, otherwise he would definitely be crushed by the master. In the small Jiangbei, there are two great masters, Sukinkan and Nalanzu, on the bright side, and there should be more in the dark. Outside of Jiangbei, there must be more masters and masters. The second level of Qi training on your own is still not enough. You must quickly improve your strength. Su Yang had already thought about it. After these 2 days of busy work, he would quickly transform the evil spirit in his body into spiritual energy, step into the third level of Qi training, and try to attack the fourth level. Instructor. At this time, Zhang Chenyang and other members of the National Blade greeted each other in unison. Zhao nodded slightly, then his eyes fell on Su Yang, frowning and said, "Your appearance is somewhat similar to Brother Su, Zhang Chenyang. Who is he?" His name is Su Yang, and he is Sushui's son," Zhang Chenyang said intermittently, fearing that the instructor would be angry. "Brother Su's son." Zhao looked at Su Yang carefully and did not get angry, but smiled. "I didn't expect that Brother Su's son has grown so big in a blink of an eye. Time flies so fast." Turning around, Zhao looked at Su Yang and smiled softly. "Little guy, your dad and I are old acquaintances. Isn't it too much to call me aunt?" "Aunt?" The National Blade members present were all shocked when they heard this. They had no idea that Zhao would be so gentle when facing Su Yang. "You know, when I was in Korean, every time I mentioned Sushui, the instructor would get furious. Now, the instructor actually asked Su Yang to call her aunt." He clearly wanted to make friends with Su Yang, which really surprised them. "But..." Su Yang shook his head and said, "Call me aunt? That won't work." "Huh?" Zhao was unhappy and frowned slightly. "Why, you don't want to?" "I don't want to." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Instructor Zhao, you are obviously so beautiful and young. It is definitely not okay to call you aunt. I should call you sister." "Sister Zhao, my dad will let me go to the National Blade to practice in a few days, and I will have to rely on you to protect me," Su Yang said with a flattering smile. "Haha, little guy, you are much more interesting than your dad." When Zhao heard this, her brows widened and she said gently with a smile, "Don't worry, your calling me sister will not be in vain. As long as you have sister here, no one can bully you." "Really, Sister Zhao, thank you so much. I'll treat you to a pedicure when you have time." "Ah, that's not right." Su Yang realized that he had let slip, and said quickly, "I'm going to invite Captain Zhang for the pedicure. As for you, sister, I'll treat you to dinner." "Haha, interesting and interesting." Zhao smiled happily, then turned to look at Zhang Chenyang next to him, his eyes suddenly sharp, and said in a deep voice, "Zhang Chenyang, the task is not completed. Do you still have the nerve to get a pedicure?" "Ah." Zhang Chenyang was startled, his heart skipped a beat, and he said hurriedly, "Instructor, don't listen to Mr. Su's nonsense. When did I get a pedicure? He did say that he wanted to invite me, but he hasn't invited me yet." "You haven't invited me yet," Zhao said in a cold voice with a frosty face, "so, you really plan to go?" I. Zhang Chenjiang's expression changed greatly, and he quickly pulled Su Yang's clothes and asked Su Yang to help smooth things over. "Haha, Sister Zhao." Seeing this, Su Yang smiled and said, "Don't be angry. Captain Zhang is above board and has a breeze on his sleeves. How could he go to a pedicure shop? I just mentioned it as a joke. Didn't you come to Jiangbei just to go to Nalan's house to cause trouble? Let's hurry up, go ahead, I can't wait." When Zhao heard this, she remembered the purpose of her visit and smiled softly. "Little guy, why did you go to Nalan's house? You want to see Nalan's family punished so much? Do you have a grudge against them?" "Well, Sister Zhao, to be honest, Nalan Yi and I do have a grudge," Su Yang said casually. "I like to gamble. Nalan Yi won a lot of money from me. I have long wanted to see him suffer." "Haha, okay, come with me, my sister will take you to Nalan's house to show off your power," Zhao said with a smile, and then led Su Yang ahead. Zhang Chenyang and a group of members of the National Blade looked at each other in disbelief. Sushui failed the instructor. Over the years, the instructor hated Sushui to the core. Logically speaking, shouldn't he also hate young Master Su? Also, the instructor was most taboo about gambling. I remember that there was once a member of the National Blade who liked gambling, but the instructor discovered that he had his hands broken and kicked him out of the National Blade. But now, the instructor is not only surprisingly kind to Su Yang, he even accepts Su Yang's love for gambling. Unreasonable. This is unreasonable. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 64. Half an hour later. Nalan family estate. Before Su Yang and Guo Ren arrived, the Nalan family welcomed several distinguished guests. However, these people didn't look very happy, and they looked like they were going to attack the enemy. Among them, one of them is the master of Country D, Du Ziming. There is no doubt that they are all from Country D. Next to Du Ziming, stood an old man over 60 years old. His face was full of wrinkles, his eye sockets were sunken, he was short, and his body was stooped. But he exuded a heart-stopping aura, and he was obviously a super master. This person is Lu Fankin, the leader of Country D, who is responsible for snatching the Red Lotus sword, and is a martial arts master. As soon as this group of people arrived, they were secretly taken into the family's underground meeting room by Nalan Mingj. Now, in the underground conference room, Nalan Mingj was entertaining Lu Fankin and others with great enthusiasm. "Team leader Lu, this tea is a new product this year. You can't drink it in Country D, please try it," Nalan Mingj said with a smile as he poured the tea. "Huh, no need," Lu Fankin said coldly, "I'm not interested in tea. Let your grandfather Nalanzo come out to see me. His old man is practicing in seclusion recently. I have already sent someone to notify him. I think he will arrive soon." Nalan Mingj put down the teapot and already saw something was wrong, so he smiled and said, "Team leader Lu, you were angry when you first came here. Is there something we, the Nalan family, did that was not thoughtful enough to offend you?" Lu Fankin glanced at Nalan Mingj and said solemnly, "You are a junior, but you are not qualified to talk to me." "Haha, brother Lu, Mingj is the most outstanding young talent of our Nalan family. He will be in charge of the Nalan family in the future. He is still qualified." At this time, Nalanzu walked in and said with a smile, "Nalanzu." When Lu Fankin saw Nalanzu, his eyes suddenly became sharp, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Haha, your grandson has never even set foot in ancient martial arts, how can he be the best talent? The young talent of your Nalan family should be the second young master Nalan Yake, right?" Lu Fankin said with a thorn in his words. "Nalan Yi." Nalanzu was a little confused and frowned. "Brother Lu, what do you mean, you took the gun medicine? You have the nerve to ask me," Lu Fankin snorted, and then said calmly, "Du Ziming, tell the head of the Nalan family exactly what happened last night." "Yes, team leader." Du Ziming next to him agreed, and then said with an unkind expression, Last night we were waiting for the Red Lotus sword to be unearthed as scheduled. If nothing unexpected happens, we will get the Red Lotus sword soon. We have arrested several people sent by the National Blade. No one can stop us from taking the knife. At this point, Du Ziming said angrily, who would have thought that Nalan Yi, the second son of your Nalan family, would actually appear in the cave in Dongshan and keep saying some patriotic words, saying that those who invade China will be punished no matter how far away they are. We must also use our strength to tell us that China's territory is inviolable. Your Nalan family has really raised a good son who is loyal, courageous, and dedicated to serving the country. Du Ziming gritted his teeth. What? Nalan Yi actually did such a thing? After hearing this, Nalan Mingj was slightly stunned, and then said, Mr. Du, is there any misunderstanding here? How could my second brother do such a stupid thing? Or, that person is not my second brother at all, but someone is framed and framed. What a misunderstanding. Du Ziming became angry and said, your good second brother introduced himself as soon as he came up, and I have investigated and found that that person is indeed Nalan Yi. I know the look of him turning into ashes. Nalan Mingj frowned and said, Mr. Du, if it is really my second brother, he is just an ordinary person. Even if he appears in front of you, you won't be so angry. For the sake of our cooperation, you knock him out, just send it here. Ordinary people. Knock him out and bring him here. Du Ziming said angrily, haha, Nalan Mingj, your acting skills are so good. Nalan Yi's strength is unfathomable. He has reached the peak of his strength. He killed our captain Ling Hu and knocked him unconscious. Du Ziming couldn't help but swear. This is impossible. Nalan Mingj calmly analyzed, my second brother really has no contact with ancient martial arts. How can he have such strength? Someone must be impersonating him. You still don't admit it? Du Ziming sneered, then took out a photo, showed it to Nalan Mingj, and asked at the same time, is the person in the photo Nalan Yi? Yes, this is my second brother. Nalan Mingj did not deny it. Humph, he was the one who attacked us last night. Du Ziming gritted his teeth and said, Nalan Mingj, you don't want to say that there is a person who looks exactly like Nalan Yi, do you? When Nalan Mingj heard this, he fell silent with a slightly solemn expression. He felt that there must be something fishy about this matter. He definitely didn't believe that his second brother was a master at the peak of Huajin. Nalan Zhu, your good and patriotic grandson also said that the Red Lotus sword belongs to your Nalan family, and he cursed our D country as stupid dogs. I guess the Red Lotus sword is in your Nalan family now, right? At this time, Lu Fankin had a gloomy face and said in a cold voice, that's the way it is, Nalan Zhu, you must give me an explanation today, otherwise our dead soldiers from country D will definitely destroy the Nalan family. Brother Lu, this matter is too strange. Don't rush to a conclusion yet. Nalan Zhu explained, Nalan Yi is my grandson. I watched him grow up. I know what he is like better than anyone else. He cannot be the master you call him. Let's do this. Nalan Yi went to his villa to spend the night. I will call him and ask him to come back. Let's confront him and talk clearly, Nalan Zhu suggested. Okay, Nalan Zhu, I'll wait for you for half an hour and see what explanation you can come up with. Lu Fankin agreed with a sneer on his face, then suddenly took action and strangled Nalan Mingj's neck. Stop. Nalan Zhu's face turned cold instantly, and he exuded a terrifying aura. He threatened, Lu Fankin, don't really think that my Nalan family is afraid of you. If you dare to touch Mingj, I will fight you to the death. Today, none of you will be killed. Want to leave? Grandfather? But Nalan Mingj shook his head and signaled Nalan Zhu to calm down, then smiled softly and said, don't worry, team leader Lu will not hurt me. Just wait for my second brother to come over and explain the matter clearly. Yes, Nalan Zhu, you must give me an explanation for this matter, and you must hand over the Red Lotus sword. If Nalanyi doesn't show up, then don't blame me for being ruthless and turning your back on me, Lu Fankin said coldly. Nalanzu was about to say something else, but at this moment, a servant suddenly walked in and said with a panic face, "Master, there is a group of people outside. The leader is a woman who calls herself the National Blade Instructor." Zao? Why is she here at this time? Nalanyi frowned slightly. After hearing the news, the atmosphere in the underground conference room instantly became tense. Lu Fankin clasped Nalan Ming's neck with one hand and said in a deep voice, "Nalan Ziu, are you not playing double agent with me? You are cooperating with us on the surface, but secretly you have reached a consensus with the National Blade." Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 65. Double Agent. Upon hearing this, Nalanzu hurriedly denied, "Lu Fankin, are you having trouble with your brain? In cooperation with you, I have done a lot of things that harmed the interests of China. Even the whereabouts of the Red Lotus sword was provided by our Nalan family for you." Nalan Zio said in a deep voice, "If Guo Ren knew these things, would our Nalan family still exist? Do you think the Nalan family would do such a thing that harms others and does not benefit oneself?" These words did not dispel Lu Fankin's suspicion. Even if you don't cooperate with the National Blade, your Nalan family is not a good person. Otherwise, why would you send Nalan Yi to steal the Red Lotus sword? Nalan Ziu, in my opinion, your Nalan family just wants to take advantage of country D's tomb robber talents and reap the benefits. Okay Lu Fankin, I told you that I will give you an explanation on this matter, so please stop making random guesses now. Nalan Zhu said impatiently, and then looked at Nalan Mingj. "Mingj, you don't have to be afraid. Grandpa will go out to deal with the national sword first. You wait for me to come back. Lu Fankin, don't hurt my grandson. Also, there is surveillance in the living room. I will meet with the National Blade Instructor in the living room later, and you can watch the simultaneous live broadcast in this underground secret room. In order to prove the innocence of the Nalan family, you can watch the entire communication between me and the National Blade Instructor." After leaving a few words, Nalan Zhu asked someone to turn on the surveillance camera, and then left the underground secret room. At this moment, the servants of the Nalan family have already led Su Yang and Guo Ren to the living room. Instructor Zao was as cold as ice and stood at the front with an expressionless face. As for Su Yang, he was right next to her. "Sister Zao, what kind of cosmetics do you usually use? You take good care of yourself." Su Yang smiled and flattered her. He. Zao originally had a serious face, but she laughed out loud when she heard this. "Sister, I usually have so many things to do, how can I have time to use cosmetics? Oh my god." Su Yang was shocked and said, "Sister Zao, your little skin can be broken by a blow, and it is white and tender. It is really hard to imagine that you can do this without makeup. Little guy, your mouth is much better than your dad's." Zao was amused. "My dad is a fool of himself." Su Yang smiled softly and said, "Sister Zao, in fact, some cosmetics are good for the skin. You are so beautiful. If you apply it more and more, you will definitely be more beautiful. You have no intention of fighting for love. If you are jealous, you will be jealous. You are so beautiful. I'll give you a set of cosmetics tomorrow. Don't refuse." Su Yang said flatteringly. His purpose was very clear: to make the instructor happy. Whether he would go to Kuoban or not, was not a matter of just one sentence. "Haha, you little guy, okay, my sister will definitely accept all the cosmetics you gave me." Zao looked at Su Yang with a smile, and her attitude towards Su Yang was extremely good. The National Blade members at the back, including Zhang Chenyang, all looked at each other and were dumbfounded when they heard that the instructor wanted to use cosmetics. Cosmetics. This is a taboo of the instructor. She once made a rule that members of the National Blade cannot use cosmetics as long as they are in the National Blade. Because cosmetics have a certain smell, the risk of exposure will increase when performing tasks. This was a rule set by the instructor, but now the instructor wanted to break it just because Su Yang wanted to give her cosmetics. Worry. What happened to the instructor? Why was he so nice to Su Yang? Why? Just when the members of the National Blade were puzzled, Nalanzu came over with a smile on his face. Miss Zhao, I don't know that when you come to visit me, you may not be welcomed from afar, and sometimes you may not be welcomed from afar. Nalanzu said hello with a smile, and felt a little more comfortable when he saw Zhao. Originally, he thought that the Nalan family had everything he could do under his own control, and he was very proud of it last night. However, he did not expect that early this morning, people from Country D would come to ask for help, unjustly accusing Nalan Yi of killing the masters of Country D, snatched the Red Lotus sword. This is no joke. No one knows Nalan Yi's situation as well as Nalan Ziu. Lu Fangcan, this bitch, wrongly accuses the Nalan family indiscriminately. It's so irritating. Simply speaking, I have a good relationship with the National Blade instructor, so he must be here to catch up with me. Nalanzu. But at this time, Zhao's face darkened and she said coldly, hand over Nalan Yi. What's the situation? Nalanzu was a little confused for a moment and asked doubtfully, Miss Zhao, what's going on? What are you doing with Nalan Yi? Zhang Chenyang, tell him the reason, Zhao said in a cold tone. Yes. Zhang Chenyang accepted the order, then stared at Nalanzu and said truthfully, Master Nalan, I believe you know something about the Red Lotus sword. Last night, Nalan Yi, the second son of your Nalan family, took the Red Lotus sword from my hand. Nalan Yi. Why is it Nalan Yi again? What is going on today? Why do so many people wrongly accuse Nalan Yi? Do they really think that the Nalan family is easy to bully? Nalanzu was a little angry, but facing the national sword, he did not dare to get angry. Instead, he smiled and said, Captain Zhang, it must be a misunderstanding. How can Nalan Yi have such ability? It's definitely not a misunderstanding. Zhang Chenyang said angrily, your Nalan family is very hidden. Nalan Yi has already become a martial arts master. Last night he threatened me and forced me to hand over the Red Lotus sword. I revealed my identity, but he didn't take the National Blade seriously at all and still wanted to take the Red Lotus sword. Zhang Chenyang gritted his teeth and said, what's even more outrageous is that he also threatened that if you are not afraid of death, you can come to Nalan's house and ask for a knife from him. This. Nalanzu was really confused. Previously Lu Fangcan said that Nalan Yi was at the pinnacle of Huajin, and now Zhang Chenyang of Guoren said that Nalan Yi was a master of martial arts. It's your grandma's fault. What you said makes me almost believe that Nalan Yi is a master. But Nalanzu knew clearly in his heart that he met Nalan Yi every day. This incompetent grandson was just a little clever and had never been exposed to ancient martial arts. He could never be the master they said he was. Nalanzu, didn't you expect that your Nalan family is so arrogant now that you don't even care about the national sword? At this time, Zhao said in a deep voice. Nalanzu smiled bitterly and hurriedly explained, misunderstanding, Miss Zhao, we are close friends, you have to believe me. Stop telling me these things. The relationship between me and your Nalan family has long been severed. Zhao said solemnly, I heard from Zhang Chenyang about what happened last night. Although Nalan Yi took away the Red Lotus sword and was unruly, he killed Ling Hu, the peak Huajin master of Country D, rescue Zhang Chenyang and others from Country D. Nalan Yi even said some patriotic words. This shows that he still has China in his heart and is a loyal and courageous good man. For the sake of this matter, as long as he hands over the Red Lotus sword tonight and apologizes to the National Blade, the matter will be revealed, Zhao said coldly. Kill Ling Hu? A loyal and courageous man? When Nalanzu heard this, he thought that Lu Fankin in the underground secret room was watching the live broadcast in the living room, and his face suddenly turned ugly, and he was about to cry. Why, Nalan Zhu, do you want to say that these patriotic actions were not done by Nalan Yi? Zhao frowned. No, no, no. Nalan Zhu wanted to deny it, but in front of the national sword, it was not good to deny it. He could only bite the bullet and said, everyone is a patriot. This is what Nalan Zhu should do. At the same time, underground secret room. Lu Fankin and several D-country masters all turned gloomy when they heard this. Among them, Lu Fankin gritted his teeth and roared, Nalan Zhu, let me see how you are going to explain this time. After the National Blade people leave, I will fight with you until death. Prepare to bear the wrath of the dead soldiers of Country D. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 66. Lu Fankin was really angry. Nalan Zhu didn't admit it just now, but now it's better that he admits it directly in front of Guo Ren. Damn it! If it weren't for the fear of National Blade instructor Zhao, Lu Fankin would have led his men to kill him long ago. At this moment, Manor Hall. Zhao's face was frosty and she said in a cold voice, Nalan Zhu, I won't say any more nonsense. I have two requests. Nalan Yi apologizes and returns the Red Lotus sword. Do it as soon as possible. Don't force me to do it myself. Otherwise, Nalan Zhu the Lan family will cease to exist. Don't doubt it, I have this ability, Zhao emphasized coldly, revealing his undoubted strength. Seeing Zhao getting angry, Nalan Zhu reacted and said with a wry smile, Miss Zhao, I was confused just now. What I mean is, if Nalan Yi really has that ability, and happens to meet a member of the National Blade if he is captured, he will definitely come to the rescue. After all, it is our Nalan family's family tradition to defend the country with loyalty. But Nalan Yi is just an ordinary person, and it is impossible to defeat those masters from Country D. Nalan Zhu explained, naturally, the person who stole the Red Lotus sword was not Nalan Yi. I guess there must be someone with ulterior motives pretending to be Nalan Yi. Nalan Zhu said seriously, Miss Zhao, everything I say is true. You have to believe me. Moreover, the Red Lotus sword is not in Nalan's house at all. If you don't believe it, you can search it. He. Hearing this, Zhao sneered and said, there is no need to search. Maybe the Red Lotus sword has been moved long ago. Call Nalan Yi and I will confront him. What an injustice. It's nothing to do with transferring the Red Lotus sword. However, Miss Zhao, please wait a moment. In order to prove the innocence of the Nalan family, I will call Nalan Yi back. Hearing this, Nalan Zhu did not hesitate, and immediately dialed Nalan Yi's phone and said in a deep voice, Nalan Yi, I don't care where you are, get back here immediately. After hanging up the phone, Nalan Zhu smiled and said, Miss Zhao, please wait for a while. Nalan Yi will be here soon, and he will definitely give an explanation to Guo Ren. Zhao nodded, and then led Su Yang to sit on the chair next to him. This is, young Master Su. Previously, Nalan Zhu was focused on dealing with Zhao and thus ignored Su Yang. Only now did he react and frowned slightly. It seemed that Nalan Yi's plan failed. Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming did not kill Su Yang. This Nalan Yi has failed more than succeeded, so he must be severely punished afterwards. Nalan Zhu complained in his heart, but smiled on the surface, young Master Su, what kind of wind brought you here today? He was particularly curious as to why Su Yang came to Nalan's house. Did he already know that Nalan Yi had ordered someone to kill him? It shouldn't be. If Su Yang knew the truth, then the person accompanying him must be Sukyankan. With Sukyankan's protective character, he would definitely make a big fuss, and maybe forcefully kill Nalan Yi to vent his anger. Haha, Master Nalan, I heard that Guo Ren was coming to Nalan's family to investigate, so I came over to watch the excitement. Su Yang pretended to be clueless and smiled. Really? He doesn't know the truth. Nalan Zhu breathed a sigh of relief, but his face darkened. Watching the fun? Isn't it just adding insult to injury? There are many people who want to see the Nalan family's jokes, but to say it so blatantly, you, Mr. Su, are the first to do it? Don't you consider the feelings of our Nalan family? Nalan Zu's face looked a little ugly. Ahem, Mr. Su, what you did is wrong. Our Nalan family and the Su family are friends. If something happens to the Nalan family, it doesn't matter if the Su family doesn't help. How can you adding insult to injury? I asked him to come. At this time, Zhao stared at Nalan Zhu and said coldly, Su Yang will join the National Blade soon. He is a member of the National Blade. I will bring him here. Is there any problem? This, of course, is no problem. Nalan Zhu responded with a smile, then stood aside and stopped talking. Although today Lu Fankin from Country D and Zhao instructor from Quarren came to Nalan's house to find trouble. However, Nalan Zhu was confident that he could prove the innocence of the Nalan family, so his expression was relatively relaxed. Anyway, I don't have a red lotus sword in my home. Those who are pure will be pure themselves, and their bodies will not be afraid of slanted shadows. Zhao and all the members of the National Blade also stopped talking and chose to wait quietly for Nalan Yi. In Su Yang's heart, he began to think about how to make Nalan Yi snatch the red lotus sword. Yes. Soon, a playful smile appeared on Su Yang's lips. He already had a perfect plan in mind, so he let go of his consciousness to sense the surroundings. He wanted to sense Nalan Yi's location before everyone noticed Nalan Yi. Because Su Yang possesses the soul of the immortal emperor, and has already stepped into the second level of Qi training, and his perception ability is far superior to that of a martial arts master, he can naturally do this without being noticed. About 20 minutes later, Su Yang noticed that Nalan Yi was driving a Porsche sports car towards the manor. However, because there was a sprinkler truck in front, the Porsche couldn't drive fast. The opportunity has come. Seeing this, Su Yang raised the corners of his mouth, turned to look at Zhao next to him, and smiled softly, Sister Zhao, I'm a little thirsty after waiting for so long. Are you thirsty? Good. Zhao responded softly, then her eyes fell on Nalan Zhu, her expression darkened, and she said coldly, Nalan Zhu, when I came to your house, I didn't even have a glass of water. This is how your Nalan family treats you. The guest's way. Haha, I'm sorry, Miss Zhao, my negligence. Ancestor Nalan smiled apologetically, and then ordered, come here, make tea, use the tea leaves of the red robe mother tree that I got a few days ago. Master Nalan, no need, I don't like those. Su Yang stopped, then smiled, and said, in comparison, I prefer to drink milk tea. Sister Zhao, do you drink milk tea? I will buy it now. I can bring you a cup. Milk tea? Is it delicious? Zhao asked doubtfully. In these years, she was either practicing or managing the country, and had little contact with urban life. When she occasionally went out for a walk, she would not buy milk tea. She thought it was something young people drank and was not suitable for her. Of course it tastes good. It's hot in the summer, and the milk tea is super sweet. There's a song that goes like this, it seems like you love me, I love you, Mixu Bing Cheng is sweet. Su Yang worked hard to sell milk tea, and then said, I remember there is a Mixu I city nearby. Please wait for a while, and I will buy it right away. Okay. Zhao looked at Su Yang with a smile. With Zhao's permission, Su Yang walked out of the manor hall and drove the Bentley Mulsanne away from Nalan's house. The National Blade members present were confused again. They had never seen anyone dare to smile playfully in front of the instructor. You love me back, I love you, Michelle Bing Cheng is sweet? Could it be that the instructor likes this? Zhang Chenyang secretly wrote it down, as if he had opened the door to a new world. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 67. At this moment, Nalan Yi was driving a white Porsche sports car on the road with an anxious face. I don't know what happened. Grandpa sounded unhappy. Could it be that the assassination of Su Yang failed and Zhao Jiping and Song Kongming confessed me? Thinking of this, Nalan Yi became even more anxious and wished he could stop at 200 miles. Unfortunately, there was a sprinkler truck in front, pressing the Porsche forward slowly. This was originally a single lane and there was no way to overtake, so Nalan Yi frequently honked his horn to signal the sprinkler truck to give way at the intersection. Who knew that the driver of the sprinkler truck was not happy and deliberately slowed down the vehicle to prevent Nalan Yi from overtaking. Fuck you, I am the second son of the Nalan family. If you don't get out of the way, I will kill you. Nalan Yi was so angry that he stuck out his head and threatened the sprinkler truck driver. This sentence worked really well. When the driver of the sprinkler truck learned Nalan Yi's identity, he hurriedly speeded up and gave way to the next intersection. You bitch, I have something to do today and I won't care about you. Nalan Yi cursed loudly, then stepped on the accelerator and drove away, eager to go back to Nalan's house to find out what happened. But at this moment, a Bentley Mulsanne rushed over and hit the front of the Porsche. Boom! With a muffled sound, both cars stopped. The collision of luxury cars of this level immediately attracted many citizens to watch. Fuck. Nalan Yi was already very anxious, and now he was even more furious. He pushed open the door and walked to the Bentley, and cursed angrily, "You idiot, do you know how to drive?" At this moment, the door of the Bentley Mulsanne opened, and Su Yang walked out of it. His eyes fell on Nalan Yi, and he gritted his teeth and said, "Nalan Yi, who the hell are you scolding?" "Su, young master Su." When Nalan Yi saw Su Yang, he was shocked and murmured, "Why are you still alive? Do you really want me to die?" Su Yang frowned. Although Nalan Yi dared to send someone to assassinate Su Yang, on the surface, he did not dare to offend Su Yang. After all, Su Yang was the number one dude in Jiangbei, with Sukyankan and Su Jingguo behind him. So, Nalan Yi quickly waved his hand and said with a smile, "No, no, no, how could it be?" "Then why are you saying, 'Why am I still alive?'" Su Yang asked knowingly. "You are shocked that I am alive. Do you want to kill me?" "It's impossible, it's impossible." Nalan Yi hurriedly explained, "Didn't we crash just now? I thought the owner of the Bentley was dead, so I was a little surprised to see you walking out of the car." Su Yang sneered in his heart, but on the surface he yelled, "Cao Nima, you still dare to say this? How could you drive? Damn, you almost killed me." "I'm sorry, young Master Su. This is all my fault." "Are you not injured?" Nalan Yi asked with concern. "After being injured, I'm in good physical condition. Can't you see me jumping around?" Su Yang pointed to his Bentley and said coldly, "But you crashed my car. Tell me, how can we solve this matter? As long as everything is fine, I'll fix the car. Don't be angry, Mr. Su." Nalan Yi was afraid of injuring Su Yang in public. Now that he knew that Su Yang was fine, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and added, "Also, I can use 500,000 yuan to treat the damage to the car." "That's pretty much it?" Su Yang nodded with satisfaction. "You are smart, you have my bank card number in your record, please transfer the money in." "Okay." Nalan Yi didn't hesitate, turned around and walked towards the Porsche, bending down to get his cell phone. Su Yang, on the other hand, took advantage of this opportunity and placed a flaming dagger at Nalan Yi's feet. This red short sword is naturally the Red Lotus sword. After Su Yang drained the evil spirit of the Red Lotus sword, the sword turned into an ordinary sword. But he didn't throw it away, but carried it with him. Now he could just throw it to Nalan Yi. As long as Nalan Yi picks up the red lotus knife and brings the red lotus knife to Nalan's house, it will be irrefutable proof. He will have to bear the blame for last night. At this moment, Su Yang put the red lotus sword on the ground. Nalan Yi could step on it if he walked around casually, thus discovering the red lotus sword. He didn't know what Nalan Yi's expression would be. Okay, young Master Su, I've transferred the money to your card. Now I can leave at this time. Nalan Yi straightened up and said. Can. Su Yang smiled softly, and then said, by the way, I lost the dog fight last night. I did what you said. If we have a chance, let's continue the bet. I think my Teddy can beat your shepherd dog of. Teddy ever hit a sheepdog? Hee hee. Dream. Okay, no problem, you're always welcome. Although he felt contempt in his heart, on the surface Nalan Yi agreed with a smile, and then walked into the Porsche. But at this time, he suddenly realized that he seemed to have stepped on something, so he looked down and picked up the red lotus sword. This is. Nalan Yi picked up the red lotus sword and looked at it carefully, feeling vaguely familiar. After staring for a few seconds, Nalan Yi was instantly overjoyed and his hands trembled. Red lotus sword. Isn't this the red lotus demon sword from Country D? I've seen the picture, and it's exactly the same as the picture. The masters and swordsmen of Country D have been searching hard, but the sword they couldn't find appears inexplicably at my feet. Haha, I am indeed the chosen one. I picked up the treasure easily. I am so lucky, ha ha ha. If I take the red lotus sword back to Nalan's house, Grandpa will definitely look at me with admiration, and maybe even reward me with shares in the family. Nalan Mingj, I am born with good luck, how can you compare with me? Nalan Yi was extremely excited, and the hand holding the red lotus sword was trembling. He had imagined that his grandfather would be happy. Nalan Yi, what did you pick up on the ground? At this time, Su Yang asked knowingly. No, it's nothing, Mr. Su, I'm going home first. Nalan Yi suddenly came to his senses, hid the red lotus knife in his arms as if to guard against thieves, then dropped the Porsche and ran towards Nalan's house in a hurry. Nalan Yi, what are you going to do? You don't want the car anymore. Su Yang looked at Nalan Yi's back and shouted loudly. Unexpectedly, the more he shouted, the faster Nalan Yi ran and disappeared quickly. Hee hee. Seeing this, Su Yang raised a playful smile, and then called Guo Yi and asked him to deal with Bentley. As for himself, he walked to the milk tea shop not far away and said with a smile. 2 cups of taro paste and bobo milk tea, no taro paste, no bobo, thank you. A few minutes later, Nalan Yi held the red lotus knife in his arms and ran into the living room of Nalan's house in a panic. At this time, Nalan Yi panted heavily, beads of sweat oozing out from his forehead, but a happy smile filled his face. He quickly took out the red lotus sword from his arms and said excitedly, Grandpa, look, I got something good. Red lotus sword. I got the famous sword of Country D, the red lotus demon sword, ha ha ha, Nalan Yi laughed proudly. Swish, swish, swish. But after he finished speaking, Zhao and Nalanzu looked over, their expressions ugly. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 68. In Nalan's living room, National Blade instructor Zhao and several National Blade members were waiting for Nalan Yi to come over. Nalan Zhao was also waiting, but he was confident that the Nalan Yi who the members of the National Blade said had stolen the red lotus sword was definitely not his grandson. Therefore, Nalan Zhao was smiling and there was no trace of panic in his expression. It was a misunderstanding anyway, and it would be explained clearly when Nalan Yi came. But at this time, Nalan Yi suddenly ran in with the red lotus sword in his arms, and stupidly showed off that he had obtained the red lotus sword. Oh my god! Isn't this stupid? Everyone else is cheating on their fathers, but you are such a cheating grandpa. Grandfather? At this moment, Nalanyi didn't know the seriousness of the matter, and said with a proud smile, I got the red lotus sword for my family. This is a great achievement. How are you going to reward me? Snapped. But as soon as he finished speaking, Nalanzu slapped him in the face and roared, I will reward you with grandma's legs. Nalanyi fell directly to the ground, his handsome face full of astonishment, and said aggrievedly, Grandpa, why did you hit me? Shut up. Nalanzu rebuked loudly, kneel down, immediately, immediately. Nalanyi did not dare to go against Nalanzu's words, and hurriedly knelt down on his knees, still holding the red lotus sword tightly in his hand, his expression even more confused. Nalanzu. At this time, Zhao said coldly, the red lotus sword is indeed in Nalanyi's hand. Now the proof is irrefutable. What else can you explain? This misunderstanding, it must be a misunderstanding. Nalanzu didn't know what to say anymore, so he stared at Nalanyi and asked in a deep voice, Nalanyi, tell me honestly, how did you get this knife? When Nalanyi heard this, he hesitated for a moment. He felt that saying that he had picked it up was a bit shameful and would definitely not attract his grandfather's attention. After thinking about it, Nalanyi boasted, Grandpa, of course I snatched it with my own ability. You don't know, the situation was very chaotic at that time. In order to grab this knife, I... Shut up. Nalanzu's expression changed drastically. He interrupted first, and then said sullenly, Nalanyi, do you know who these guests are? They are members of the National Blade. This young girl is the instructor of the National Blade, Zhao. Nalanzu asked and answered his own questions and continued, today, they came to the door and said that you snatched the red lotus sword from Captain Guo Renjiang and threatened the Guo Ren members, so they came to investigate. So, you'd better think clearly, answer again, and don't exaggerate, otherwise no one can protect you, Nalanzu suggested. National sword. Nalanyi was shocked. He originally thought that the people in the living room were just ordinary friends of his grandfather, so he did not shy away from it and even went out of his way to show off his achievements in front of these people. But now, after learning the identities of these people, especially their purpose of coming, Nalanyi panicked. Guo Ren is competing with the masters of Country D for the Red Lotus Sword. He knows about this and he knew it last night. Guo Ren suspected that I had snatched the Red Lotus Sword, but I was in front of Guo Ren just now. Thinking of this, Nalanyi couldn't hold himself any longer, and hurriedly explained in panic, I didn't grab the Red Lotus Sword, I was wrongly accused. The Red Lotus Sword is in your hand. It's too late to change your mind now, Zhao said coldly. Clang. Nalanyi hurriedly threw the red lotus knife to the ground, waving his hands and clarifying the relationship, I really didn't snatch anything from Guo Ren. What are you talking about? I don't know. Still quibbling. Zhang Chenyang next to him, his eyes fell on Nalanyi and said coldly, Nalanyi, I will never forget your face. Weren't you very arrogant last night? You also said that if I am not afraid of death, you will come to Nalanyi, the Lan family gets the knife. When did I ever say such things? Don't slander me. Nalanyi was frightened and confused, and explained again, I went to the club last night, and I never saw you at all. You must have recognized the wrong person. Haha, I may admit my mistake myself, but all my team members are here, how can so many people get it wrong? Zhang Chenyang asked with a sneer. There is definitely a misunderstanding here, Nalanyi felt like he couldn't argue. Misunderstanding, Zhang Chenyang sneered, then tell me, how come the red lotus sword is in your hand? I picked this up on the road, Nalanyi said truthfully. Haha, it's a joke. Do you know the value of the red lotus sword? If it is auctioned, it will cost at least tens of billions. Will someone throw it on the road? Zhang Chenyang continued, besides, you just admitted it in public, saying that you were the one who snatched the Red Lotus sword. I was just bragging. I really picked it up. Nalan Yi explained with a sad face, the reason why I said that is to show off my dignity and make myself proud in front of Grandpa. Master Nalan, your lies are full of loopholes. It's okay to deceive fools. Do you think our national swordsmen are all fools? Zhang Chenyang raised his eyebrows. Nalan Yi was speechless, so he begged Nalan Ziu next to him and cried, Grandpa, you have to believe me. I really picked up the Red Lotus sword. I didn't go anywhere last night. I played in the clubhouse all night, and the clubhouse technician can vouch for me. Haha, those shady women, their words cannot be used as testimony. Besides, with your strength, you can completely avoid everyone's eyes and ears, Zhang Chenyang said solemnly. Captain Zhang. At this time, Nalan Ziu thought of a question and said, you keep saying that Nalan Yi stole the Red Lotus sword, and you also said that his strength is unfathomable, right? That's right, Zhang Chenyang nodded and said, this grandson of yours can easily kill someone at the peak of Huajin, at least a half-step master, or even stronger. Haha, then this will be easy to handle. Nalan Ziu pulled Nalan Yi to his side, and then said with a smile, whether the person who snatched the Red Lotus sword from you is him or not, there is no proof. But Nalan Yi is standing here now. I'm sure he doesn't know martial arts. He is just an ordinary person. Captain Zhang, an ordinary person, can't snatch the Red Lotus sword from you, right? Nalan Ziu asked. Of course ordinary people can't, but not Nalan Yi, Zhang Chenyang said firmly. That's easy. As long as we prove that Nalan Yi doesn't know martial arts, we can clear our Nalan family's innocence. Nalan Ziu's eyes fell on Xiao and said with a smile, Miss Xiao, you are a martial arts master. Now you can test Nalan Yi to see if he can do martial arts. No need to test. Xiao shook her head and said calmly, Nalan Yi has no real energy fluctuations in his body. He is indeed an ordinary person. She had observed Nalan Yi several times and was sure that Nalan Yi did not know martial arts. Haha, that's good. Nalan Ziu breathed a sigh of relief, but when faced with the national sword, even if he was wronged, he did not push for an inch. Instead, he smiled and said, Miss Xiao, just clarify the matter. You came from afar, so don't leave at noon today. Let's go. I'll invite the best chefs in Jiangbei to let you taste Jiangbei's delicacies. Xiao didn't respond. She frowned slightly. Could it be that Zhang Chenyang really made a mistake? At this moment, Su Yang walked in carrying 2 cups of milk tea and said as he walked. Sister Xiao, I heard what happened just now. Could it be that Nalan Yi has some way to hide his strength? How about I sacrifice myself and give him a few slaps in public to force him, and maybe he will bear it. Can't you help but fight back? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 69. As soon as Su Yang's words came out, everyone looked over, with slightly stunned expressions. Sacrifice yourself, slap Nalan Yi a few times, and force him? Worry. Are you sacrificing yourself or Nalan Yi? Young Master Su. At this time, Nalan Yi came to his senses and gritted his teeth and said, Why are you here? Didn't I transfer all the car repair money to you just now? What's the car repair money? Asked Nalan Zu next to him. Is such that? Su Yang rushed to answer, I was driving out to buy milk tea, but something happened and I collided with Nalan Yi's Porsche. It was just a minor problem, otherwise I should have suspected that your Nalan family was plotting against me. When Nalan Zu heard this, he smiled forcefully and said, Young Master Su is joking. It is impossible to have evil intentions. Our 2 families have always been on good terms. Young Master Su. At this time, Nalan Yi, who was kneeling on the ground, asked again, I have paid you the money, what are you doing at Nalan's house? Oh, you beat me in a dogfight yesterday. I felt a little unhappy. I learned that Guo Ren was going to come to trouble you, so I followed you. Su Yang smiled playfully and said, after all, how could such a lively event be without me, the number one dude in Jiangbei? It's just that I didn't expect that, Nalan Yi, you are actually a hidden master. Su Yang pretended to be surprised and said, it's so surprising. I thought you were a playboy like me. Don't talk nonsense. Nalan Yi was startled, and gritted his teeth in a panic. Who is the hidden master? I am just an ordinary person. It was Guo Ren who made a mistake. TCH, you're still pretending. How could Captain Zhang, a wise and powerful man, make a mistake? Su Yang suggested again, Sister Zhao, in my opinion, Nalan Yi is very tough talking. If you don't force him, he won't tell the truth. Just let me give him a few slaps. I don't mind hand pain. Su Yang. Nalan Yi was annoyed and gritted his teeth and said, don't fan the flames here. Instructor Zhao has already made a conclusion as to whether I am an ordinary person or not. She just said that I am not angry anymore. Good. Nalan Zhu continued, young Master Su, we will discuss the conflict between you and Nalan Yi later. I will ask him to apologize to you afterwards and give you a good fighting dog, so you don't cause any trouble. Nalan Zhu, I think Su Yang is right. Who knows, Zhao said, there are many kinds of martial arts in the ancient martial arts world. Maybe Nalan Yi really has a way to hide his strength. I might be mistaken. Let Su Yang give it a try. If Nalan Yi were an ordinary person, it would be nothing if he received a beating. At least it would prove the innocence of the Nalan family. Zhao's face was as frosty as she said in a deep voice, but if Nalan Yi couldn't help but fight back and leaked his true energy, it means that he was the one who snatched the Red Lotus sword and provoked the National Blade last night. Don't blame me then. You're welcome. That's okay. Zhao had already spoken, and Nalan Zhu naturally found it hard to refuse, so he looked at Su Yang with complex eyes and said calmly, young Master Su, you can start. Master Nalan, what is your attitude? Seeing this, Su Yang said with an unhappy face, the reason why I propose to beat Nalan Yi is not to restore your Nalan family's innocence. I am doing you a favor. If you don't thank me, forget it. Why do you look like you're angry with me? Help. Do I still want to thank you? Hearing this, Nalan Zhu was about to explode with anger, but he couldn't let it happen, so he could only respond, young Master Su, it's my fault, please do it quickly. I'll hit you if you ask me to. Su Yang put down his choice and said, I'm sorry, but now I regret it. Captain Zhang, Nalan Yi snatched the Red Lotus sword from your hand last night and threatened you without saving any face for you. I still give you this opportunity bar. No problem, Mr. Su, thank you for giving me this opportunity, haha. When Zhang Chenyang heard this, he was extremely happy. He was eager to try, and his expression was terrifyingly gloomy. He was holding back his anger and had long wanted to teach Nalan Yi a lesson. Now that he had the chance, he would naturally not show mercy. Don't. Nalan Zhu hurriedly stopped him. He knew that Zhang Chenyang was at the peak of his strength, and his attack was insignificant. What if he beat Nalan Yi to death? If someone had to be arranged to teach Nalan Yi a lesson, Su Yang would definitely be the most suitable, because in Nalan Zhu's view, Su Yang was just a dandy who had been drained of his body by drinking and sex. How energetic he could be. Thinking of this, Nalan Zhu smiled apologetically and said, young Master Su, I'm sorry. I made you unhappy just now. I apologize to you. I beg you to take a step and teach Nalan Yi a lesson. He is not a fighter. If the dog beats you, does it make you unhappy? You hit him, give him a hard blow, and let out a bad breath. Su Yang pretended to hesitate for a few seconds, and then said, okay, head Nalan, for the sake of your pleading with me, I will reluctantly agree. Thank you, Mr. Su, Nalan Zu said gratefully and breathed a sigh of relief. Captain Zhang, why don't you take a rest first and I'll teach Nalan Yi a lesson for you, Su Yang said with a smile. Good. Zhang Chenyang felt a little disappointed, but he still nodded in agreement. Immediately afterwards, Su Yang walked up to Nalan Yi. At this moment, Nalan Yi knelt on his knees, and Su Yang looked down at him from a high position. Nalan Yi, you have heard that it was your grandfather who begged me to beat you. If I hit you later, don't blame me. Su Yang. Nalan Yi looked at Su Yang resentfully and gritted his teeth, but he did not dare to say anything. I'm going to start. Su Yang smiled, and the next moment he raised his hand and slapped Nalan Yi on the face. Snapped. A crisp sound of a slap sounded in the living room, which was painful to watch. A mask of pain appeared on Nalan Yi's face, and he grimaced in pain. Snapped. 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 Su Yang did not stop, but he asked while fighting, Nalan Yi, tell me honestly, do you know martial arts? Won't. Nalan Yi gritted his teeth and responded, but what awaited him was another series of fatal blows. Is it possible? Won't. Really not. No way. After dozens of slaps, Nalan Yi's face was red and swollen, and his mouth was almost crooked from the slaps, but he still kept saying no. It's not okay to continue like this. Since we decided to let Nalan Yi take the blame, we can give up halfway. Su Yang's mind raced, and then he thought of a way, and said to himself, I can put spiritual energy into Nalan Yi's body and let him become a master in a short time. With my current ability, if I give him a bit of spiritual energy, he should have a strength equivalent to the peak of energy, which can last for up to 5 minutes. Although the time is short, it is enough to allow Nalan Yi to bear this big, round pot. With this thought in his mind, Su Yang raised his hand and slapped Nalan Yi hard on the face. However, this time was different from before. When his palm touched Nalan Yi's cheek, Su Yang poured a trace of spiritual energy into his body. Because the training systems were different, no one of the two martial arts masters at the scene noticed Su Yang's tricks. Ah! At this moment, Nalan Yi, who had obtained spiritual energy, stood up instantly, with terrifying energy fluctuations exuding from his body, rippling around. What? Su Yang was surprised and pretended to be knocked to the ground by the energy wave. Then he pointed at Nalan Yi and said loudly as if he had discovered a new world. Nalan Yi, you can't help it anymore. You are so strong, but you still say you don't know martial arts. Urban Super Dude. Author, Eagle in the Desert. Chapter 70. Nalan Yi's sudden burst of power was so frightening that not only Su Yang was shocked, but the members of the National Blade in the living room also staggered around. Zhang Chenyang reacted quickly, hurriedly channeling his Genkai to resist, and then stood firm. But Xiao's reaction was faster than Zhang Chenjiang's. His figure flashed and appeared in front of Su Yang in an instant, protecting Su Yang behind him, and then stared at Nalan Yi with cold eyes. Nalan Zu next to him was a little confused when he saw his grandson becoming so powerful in an instant. It shouldn't be. Isn't this kid Nalan Yi an ordinary person? I have never seen him practice martial arts. When did he become so strong? Could it be that he is a martial arts genius? The power he exposed just now is at least the peak of his energy. He reached this level in his early 20s. It is so shocking. Is there really smoke coming out of the Nalan family's ancestral grave? Thinking of this, Nalan Zu became so excited that he even forgot the purpose of Qiaoban's visit and looked at Nalan Yi with excitement. I. At this time, Nalan Yi looked at his hands blankly, and then explained with a slight cry, I really don't know martial arts, Grandpa, you have to make the decision for me. He. Su Yang sneered in his heart, but said righteously on the surface, Nalan Yi, you have exposed your true energy inadvertently just now, and you still make such an explanation. Do you think Guo Ren will believe it? Sister Zhao, this Nalan Yi Sui is a tough talker. He still refuses to admit it when the facts are in front of him. You should punish him quickly, Su Yang couldn't help but say. Zhao nodded lightly, then a pair of beautiful eyes fell on Nalan Yi, and said solemnly, Nalan Yi, you must have practiced some kind of martial arts to hide your strength. Yes, even I was fooled. Thanks to Su Yang was clever and tested you out. The power you just exploded shouldn't be enough to wipe out the peak of energy. Zhao stared at Nalan Yi, raised her eyebrows and asked, are you still hiding and not showing your full strength? No, I don't know what happened just now. Nalan Yi looked innocent and explained, I just yelled and didn't do anything. I really don't know why this happened. Humph, it seems you really fooled us into thinking we were fools. Well, since you want to pretend, I'll see how long you can pretend. Zhao's eyes turned sharp and she said in a deep voice, Zhang Chenyang, go and fight him. If he hides again, you will break his legs. Remember, this is an interruption, not a discount. I want his leg bones to be shattered and he will never be able to stand up, Zhao said coldly. Yes. Zhang Chenyang took the order, immediately stood up and attacked Nalan Yi directly, hitting Nalan Yi's head with his iron fist. I really don't know how to do martial arts. While explaining, Nalan Yi raised his arms to protect his head. Boom. He was very frightened, and he tried to block it casually, but who would have thought that he would force Zhang Chenyang back a few steps? So strong. Zhang Chenyang steadied himself and gritted his teeth and said, Master Nalan, you are so boring. You said you don't know martial arts and at the same time you beat me back. Who are you making fun of? Zhang Chenyang felt that he had been insulted, so he mobilized all his strength and continued to hit Nalan Yi with his moves. Seeing this, Nalan Yi came to his senses. Could it be that he had suddenly enlightened and possessed super magical power? Before he could think about it, Zhang Chenjiang's fist appeared. You really think I'm afraid of you? Nalan Yi gritted his teeth. This man was going to cripple him anyway, so he simply fought with him. Therefore, Nalan Yi ignored everything, punching and raising his legs, without any moves, but he neutralized all Zhang Chenjiang's attacks. But, after all, he had never practiced martial arts, and in the end he and Zhang Chenyang were both injured. After punching each other, the two of them flew out and fell to the ground. Puff. At this time, Zhang Chenyang spat out a mouthful of blood, his face slightly pale. Nalan Yi was not relaxed either. There was blood spilling from the corner of his mouth, and he kept breathing heavily. Nalan Yi, I don't know what you are thinking. Now that you have been exposed, why don't you show your true strength? Why should you hold back? You would rather lose both sides than use your full strength. At this time, Zhao asked doubtfully. What a reservation. I've worked hard, okay. Nalan Yi didn't know how to respond. When he returned to real problems, the joy of suddenly becoming stronger in his heart disappeared. It's uncomfortable. Why don't you get stronger early and late, but you become stronger at this time? Now Guo Ren is suspicious of me and has come to investigate. I suddenly have such strong strength. Damn it, how should I explain it? At this moment, Nalanzu stood up. Miss Zhao, don't rush to conclusions. Let me ask about the situation first. After saying that, Nalanzu helped Nalan Yi up, wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and asked with concern, Nalan Yi, are you okay? I'm fine, Grandpa. Nalan Yi was a little flattered. That's good. Nalanzu nodded, and then said seriously, the situation now is quite special, Nalan Yi. I don't know how you have such strong strength and why you want to hide it, but you must tell the truth today, otherwise I won't be able to save you. Grandfather. Nalan Yi opened his mouth, then smiled bitterly and said, Grandpa, I just suddenly became powerful. I have never practiced martial arts. It's like there is an extra force in my body. Okay, these words are enough to deceive a 3-year-old child, don't use them to fool me. Nalanzu emphasized, if you don't explain clearly, I'm afraid the National Blade will not let you go. This. Nalanyi was speechless. To be honest, no one believed him. He really didn't know how to explain himself. But at this time, Su Yang suddenly said, Nalanyi, you are so strong, you must not have developed it overnight. Did you have a master who is awesome and coaxing, so you reached the peak of energy at a young age? And then your master didn't want you to show too much attention, so he ordered you to hide your strength and taught you a special hiding method. Upon hearing this, Nalanyi's eyes suddenly lit up. Yes. Why didn't I think of that? This explanation not only makes it more reasonable for me to suddenly become stronger, but also shapes my character of hard-working and talented person. More importantly, everyone will know that I have an awesome master, and who will dare to do it in the future. Provoke me? Ha ha ha. Su Yang, you are such a good person and you have helped me a lot. After thinking about this, Nalanyi suddenly felt grateful to Su Yang, and then pretended to be surprised and said, Young Master Su, how did you know about this? This big fool jumps when he digs holes, and he even puts on a show, which is interesting. Seeing this, Su Yang acted like a playboy and said proudly, I guess, it's awesome. It's amazing. You guessed it right. Nalanyi first responded to Su Yang, straightened his back, straightened his clothes, and said seriously with the temperament of a martial arts master. Hey, now that the matter has come to this, I won't pretend anymore. Let me show my cards. In fact, I practiced martial arts at the age of 8 and am a genius.